All right, let's go. All right, so this is how to make Osamason type beats. You know what I'm saying? The flex music, throw your Dracos in the air shit. I'll give y'all a quick preview of the beat first. All right, so first thing I did on this beat was I got this pluck from Serum. It's like a kind of crazy sounding pluck, but I mean that's what you want for these Osamason type beats because he has some crazy sounds. I'll just play it. So what I did to make this was I started off with these four chords right here, just alternating, and then I put these notes in between to make it more of a melody. On the mixing side, I added Valhalla Space Modulator and an EQ, just take out the low ends for real. Next thing I added was these organ hits. They're really simple. They just hit on some off beats and they're basically just layered with the first melody. Mixing wise, I just took out some of the low frequencies and a little bit of the high frequencies. Next thing I did was I got this bell sound from JV1080. It is the Jimmy D bell. On the mixing side, I basically just did the same thing that I do on all my other shit. Just take out the low ends to leave room for the 808. Next thing, I added this pad from Vital. It sounds like this. But I just wanted something to hit, kind of like a bell, but I didn't want a bell because a bell would be too chimey and I already used one. So I didn't want to use another bell. So I just took this pad and I layered it in. Mixing side, same shit. I just took out all the low ends, and actually I took out more high ends than I usually do. But yeah, I guess I did that. The next thing I did was I got this pad, except I used it like a pad this time. I basically just took the chords from the main melody and extended them. Super simple. Most of the shit is super simple. Like you don't have to think that hard. Mixing side, once again, I just got an EQ and then took out the low ends. That's all for the melody. This is how it sounds on its own. On to the drums. First thing is this hi-hat. It's just a really simple alternating hi-hat. Sounds like this. I think you get the point. Next thing is this clap. It's a really basic clap. I just put it on the 3 and the 7. Here's how it sounds. Where you're going to get more technical in these beats is the snare. A lot of underground beats do have crazy snares. This pattern itself is not that crazy, but there's still a lot more snares than there would be in like a regular trap beat. My recommendations for these snares is to put them on off beats, and then add like some triplets or something like that. This is how this snare pattern sounds. The next thing I added was these two sounds that I layered over each other. One's like a perk or something, and then another is a crash. They're just on every one. I mean, that's pretty simple. Sounds like this. The final thing for the percussion is this snare roll I added. It's a super simple snare roll. The only thing that I tell you is that I panned these notes. That's about it. That's the craziest thing I did on this. What's going to give this beat its character is these crazy 808s. Now you want to get an 808 that hits really hard, and I'll tell you later how to make them hit even harder. I have two 808s. They're the same 808, they're just a different pattern. I'll show both those, then I'll show the mixing. A pretty simple 808 pattern. The only thing that's crazy about this is this slide right here, and I just wanted to do that so it could hit harder into this. I don't even know what to call this, but they're more frequent right here. So I don't know. I just wanted it to hit harder to there. This next 808 pattern has gaps in between. You can hear him do this on like All Star. Really, I just did this to make more room for the rapper because these 808s do get crazy toxic and overload the beat a lot. So I just did this to make more room for the rapper. So for the mixing of my 808s, I always had a soft clipper and an EQ. On this soft clipper, I just turned up the threshold and the post all the way up. You don't have to do that for every single one, but I just did it for this one because I needed it. Next thing is I took this EQ. I didn't even change that much about it. I just made the low frequencies just a little bit higher. And then I did the same thing on this EQ. This is how all the drums sound together. The last thing I'm going to tell you on this beat is my master. For my master, I added a soft clipper and Maximus, and I turned up the post and the ceiling. This just makes your beat louder, makes the bass come through a little bit more, and that's really what you want on these Osamason beats. And that is a tutorial. I'll play the beat as an outro. You can click off, do whatever you want. I don't care.